Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to speak about being wealthy. There are 6 things that will change when you become wealthy. Yes, and these are things you need to plan for, and think that these are things you need to expect, because it might be harder than you actually think to be wealthy. The first thing is time becomes more important than money. You start considering your time more important than money, since you are no longer working so hard for money, but you are enjoying more of the time that your money has afforded you to be able to stay a little bit freer. So you find yourself scheduling tasks in a way to be more efficient, so that you not waste too much time on mediocre tasks. You start valuing time that you spend with family, time that you spend to be able to enjoy your mental health, to be able to go to the gym and to be able to do all these things. And you find yourself fitting more things in your time. This is because money is not too important. Time has actually become more important, because you realize that you can get more money and you have gotten more money, but you cannot acquire more time. So time becomes more important to you. The other thing that happens is many people start hovering around you. You start to get more attention from people. You start gathering a lot of people and a lot of accomplices, because people are attracted to your wealth. People are attracted to your success, not necessarily because they love you, not because they like you, but because they find themselves coming around where you are. So the question always becomes, are you there are they there because they like you? Are they there because they admire you? Or are they there just because they want to feel your presence? So you'll find so many people hovering around you, but not necessarily because they are friends or have the best interest at heart. Some could actually be looking for handouts. So ensure that even as people hover around you, that you actually in the best company. The other thing that happens to you is you can start having fewer friends and have a smaller inner circle. Yes, the more wealth you generate, the more less relevant your old friends become. And this is a reality, because you can no longer discuss the same things. You can no longer discuss the same opportunities. In fact, some of their conversations might look to be a little bit petty. Some of the conversations may not feel like they are building you, and you find your inner circle going smaller and smaller. And that is why people always say it becomes lonelier at the top. This is because there are fewer and fewer people who can actually understand your situation. There are fewer and fewer people who can actually motivate you. There are fewer and fewer people who can actually spur you onto greater things. This is because the people that you used to have as your friends become less and less impactful in your life. Of course, the other thing that happens is you become more concerned about your health, because you realize with all the money that you have, there is one thing you cannot actually change. The first one, of course, is time, that I had actually mentioned. The next one is health. Health becomes more important, and the wealthier you become, the more you go to the gym, the more you you eat healthier, the more you eat less junk. You become more conscious of your health, because you have generated wealth, and now you start thinking about, how do I live longer to enjoy this wealth? So you become a lot healthier. You have start adopting better, healthier habits, and you'll be able to improve your health significantly. Of course, the other thing is your conversation changes. You stop talking about gossip. You stop talking about celebrities. You stop talking about politics. You stop speaking about sports personalities and football teams and things like that. These conversations change. They become less important to you. Unless you're looking at investing in a football team, you're not going to be speaking about football as often as you used to when you were still struggling. And you start thinking about things, you start talking more about opportunities, you start talking about investments, you start talking about policies, you start talking about governance, you start talking about things that become increasingly more important to you, as opposed to things that are just to entertain yourself. The other thing that happens is you start looking at less TV. You start looking at less things to entertain yourself, and you start looking at things to be able to build. You start to read more. This is simply because you realize that as you grow in your finances, you need to acquire more knowledge to be able to go in tandem with the money that you have made. This is because if you do not have the knowledge, you cannot maintain the wealth. If you do not have the knowledge, you cannot work with various people. And remember, if you started a business, it had 10 people when you were still struggling. Now it may have 100 people, and you might have to think even more, because you are engaging now 100 people, and 100 families are dependent on your knowledge and your input. So you start reading more, you start doing much more things, you start watching less news, you start watching less of your social media, and you become more focused on growing and learning and becoming better as a leader in your specific space. Of course, the other thing, you start looking at things or start buying things for the utility that they provide you, not the look. The look becomes less important. In fact, you might find that you tone down once you actually become wealthy, as opposed to when you are struggling in life. You start buying things because they become it's more of how is it going to serve me rather than how is it going to make me look. This is because as your wealth grows, there are lesser people to compete with. In fact, competition becomes less important as you grow your wealth, and you start looking at things in terms of how is it meeting my particular utility. You buy a car not because it is big, but you buy a car because it is comfortable. You buy a car because it is efficient for the needs that you have. You buy a car because of the safety that it provides you. You buy a car because of what it meets in your life, not how it makes you look. Of course, the other thing is you stop making small decisions. How many CEOs have you realized that they do not make such decisions as which clothes am I going to wear? Which shoes am I going to wear? How am I going to cut my hair? They stop making those decisions and they come up with something called a template. This is because if you start using your brain too much on small decisions, you get what is called decision fatigue by the end of the day. This is because you spend all your brains think about things that are less important. Whether your shirt is white or cream does not matter in the grand scheme of things. And because of this thing, they have a template where they picked everything from Monday to Friday, set apart and put together, so that they just pick, wear and move. They start getting secretaries so that such small decisions as meetings, what time, which place, they stop making these decisions and they get to this secretary so that they're only given a day schedule of what they're going to do in a day, who are they going to meeting, and everything has been set aside so that they maintain their decision making and their mental energy on much more important tasks. So that is what happens to you when you become wealthy, and when you start growing your wealth, when you start growing your business. Those are the things that actually happen in your life. I hope that you are learning, you are growing, you are becoming better in your financial affairs. Remember to subscribe to the channel, to leave a comment down in the comment section, and to like this video. Thank you and enjoy your